Head EHS Sustainability from Tata Projects, Mr. Manojkumar Shah, General Manager SGS and Sustainability from Azure Power, Mr. Nisant Tulasidas Madhwan, General Manager EHS Afcons Infrastructure Limited, Mr. Mritunjay Mishra, AVP Sourcing and Distribution from Reliance BP Mobility Limited, and Mr. Chandra Shekhar Rao, DGM EHS from L&T Construction, and our moderator, last but not the least, Mr. Asit Basak, Head Industrial Safety from SGS India Private Limited. Please come on the stage. All the panel members. Again, Mr. Amit Kumar, Mr. Yogesh Srivastava, Mr. Manojkumar Shah, Mr. Nisant Tulasidas.
I think people have not yet come after their breakfast, but our Synnex, they are insisting us to commence the session. So should we wait for 2-3 minutes more? That ends. Yeah. Otherwise, no, our esteemed speaker will be speaking, but there will not be listener. So, that is also required, you know. So request all to please take your seat, otherwise we are really not able to start the session and we will be delayed because there is a time constraint for us and we are having a very limited time. Within the time we have to finish it. So I request all to please take your seat. Okay, thank you all. Actually, still your morning time, so good morning to all. This is a panel 2 discussion. Our topics as assigned by Synnex is innovative digital technology for improving EHS in workplace safety. And along with me, our esteemed speakers are there, because in fact we are not earlier introduced, so I request when their turn comes, they will be introducing themselves, and subject-wise I will be requesting them to speak about the subject. And our subject is innovative digital technology. As you are aware that India being a third world country, we are far behind the developed countries, but in the age of this digital technology, we are not, of course, that far away also. We are trying to improve, and this is, of course, what I felt, and our colleagues here, or speakers are here, they will be analyzing and they will be speaking about these subjects, and hopefully the delegates who are sitting here, it will be very helpful for all of you, and will be edified with their illustrious knowledge. They have very good experience behind them. So we'll be starting with our first subject. That is, first point was how technology can reduce at risk employees. Means there are a lot of technologies and it is applicable for various sectors, but the safety is one of the subjects which has been neglected, which you have felt years together, but gradually that consciousness and awareness are being created amongst the employees, amongst everybody. And I feel personally that it should be a top-down approach to me, but our eminent speaker, Mr. Yogesh Srivastava, who is Corporate Head EHS and Sustainability Tata Projects, I will be requesting him to educate us, or rather speak about this subject which can really enhance our knowledge. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Asit, for the introduction and taking us through to that, driving us through in the entire upcoming modulation stuff. Thank you, Synnex Group, for arranging all this. What is beautiful is that I am able to connect way back with a lot of my colleagues inside and outside. So that's so great. And a very warm welcome to all of you, and very good morning to all of you, for all the sponsors and EHS resources, EHS team who has joined us here. Now when I think about EHS as such, before getting into the subject actually, we are the people actually who are strategists, who are looked upon as a people who can deploy the things on ground. We also act as a trainer many a times. At the same time, we act as a leadership across the whole domains. So very warm welcome and good morning to all the EHS leaders and the sponsors and the business leaders coming here. Now the topic here, what we have is related to technology. And when the technology comes to my mind, the first thing comes in is related to some kind of wearables, some kind of sensors. There are a huge list of technologies which are available right now. Some of the most prominent, which is most coming up on the internet, on the LinkedIn, on the other technological platforms are related to robotics. It's something more towards machine learning, data sciences, all those stuff. But here I will be talking about something which I have done and I have personally experienced, I have deployed, so that I can share that very practical learning across. So there are four things actually come straight is, the first thing is related to the BLE stuff, which is hand-woven devices which we have used. We have used a lot in the COVID times. Now these are devices which are focused on area management, space management in our factories. So that helps us a lot. These are simple devices, hand-wear devices, and through which we can control all the stuff related to movement of people from different areas, one area to different area. Something we can have a control mechanism once we are walking the hazardous area, so we can have, without going into a physical work area, we can actually know that which are the people nominated for that area and how many people are still there. So exposure counting is there, and workspace management is there. We use this, we have strong learning on that. The second technology which directly gives impact on the safety of the people, what we use is related to AI-enabled cameras. Now this is a technology which is maybe 2-3 years back it was very much high, but a lot of use cases because of algorithm development has has come up, and we have a lot of use cases which is, increased use cases which is coming up related to AI cameras. We have just deployed in many of the sites where crowdsourcing, fire, deviation recording. So we define algorithm, and the system captures the data and gives back to us. So that is second thing which we have used and is give good results. And talking very specifically from the EPC perspective and a bit of a factory perspective as well. A third thing which we have used in Tata projects and which is also giving a lot of good benefit is all related to sensors which are used in machines. Now we have this Delhi, Noida International Airport, Parliament projects. So all these projects where we have machines movement in place, instead of putting banksman with a flag and all those stuff, we have used proximity sensors in all those machines. So sensors, use of sensors has also given us a lot of coverage. In all of our, I would say, equipments, we have put up GPS sensors through which we can ensure that the machine doesn't move here and there. We know what the behavior of the driver is, and then we work on the behavioral part of the driver as well. So all those data comes directly from the tool, from the sensors which are fitted in the machines. And including from the sustainability perspective, we can now easily know that which is our scope 3 carbon emissions very directly. It's not about an Excel sheet computation, but it's directly come from the system. And last but not the least, which is related to drones actually. So in case we have like long big projects where it's very tough to move on to manually stuff. Say for example, solar plants, what in my earlier organization used to have big farms of solar plants. Where in case I need to do an electrical analysis or electrical safety analysis, we used to just run the drones over, and those drones were able to identify the hotspot out of millions of panels, which are the panels are having a hotspot. And then we can have a targeted setting analysis of those panels, and then we can work off. Out of millions, we are able to identify maybe 100, 150 out of that. So that is something we use for the drone. My colleague Santosh is here, who takes care of the OGS business, gonna use these drones into the confined space management as well in the factory premises, in the refinery premises. So these are all the use cases which we have used. And all this data, plus the data which we capture from all leading indicators, near miss reporting, observations, the behavior perspective, behavior observations. So all this we capture in a internally built platform known as TQ Digitalix. And through this all analysis, we are able to actually come out with something known as safety risk index for each project. So right now in my mobile, I can show you that which site is at which risk. And that's happening up and down, minute by minute, based on the parameters which are changing. And I'm okay to share this technology with all of you, whosoever wants this as a trial. If you want to have it, we can have a discussion thereafter. And this technology, this platform, actually, I can share with you all from the Tata Group or Tata Projects perspective, in case you want to do a pilot stuff related to coal arrangement. With concluding with 2-3 things, actually, see, there are a lot of technologies, but we need to see what's the purpose and what's the impact we want to create. Use that technology as first. And second thing is, always think before using a technology that what impact it's going to give to the overall safety circle, whether what will be the improvement area or the impact area, whether my reporting will be improved or my safety monitoring will be improved or my trading etc. will be getting improved. So I think these are the few of the insights I want to share with you all. Thank you so much. Back to Asit. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yogesh, and nicely articulated the technologies which you are following. And we will have to switch over to our next speaker. His subject will be how to manage change before the problem arises. As you know, the change, nobody likes change because we are used to have our hackneyed ideas, not hackneyed, I would say, that status quo maintenance is of the human tendency. But whenever there is a change, people will try to resist that change. It is human tendency. So, especially in the field of the safety sector, how we are going to combat that in case of such changes and all. So, our speaker, Mr. Manojkumar Shah, who is from Azure. So, I would request him to explain this subject so that our delegates who are sitting here can be immensely benefited with your illustrious experience on this subject. Thank you so much. Over to you.
Yeah. Good morning to all. Yeah, it's very wonderful to talk to all and share my experiences with you. Yeah, so my subject is how to manage the change before the problem arises. So we talk in safety context because change is always required in different contexts. But if we talk about in safety context, so management of change, particularly is talking about the management of change. So before going to management of change, it's the standards of the process safety management. It's very widely accepted in USA standards in PSMs. So out of in PSM, process safety management is very crucial in manufacturing, highly hazardous chemicals, runaway processes. So if implemented, it pure in heart, so it will be really improve the safety cultures, their safety performance. So management of change is talking about the temporary changes and all that. So there are the 14 elements of the safety management. These are the employee participations, safety information, project analysis, operating procedures, incident investigation, emergency preparedness response, compliance audit, and trade secret, and management of change. Management of change is the one part of these 14 elements of PSM. So, in management of change, you need to incorporate all these 14 elements. So, what is the management of change? So, management of change is talking about is a systematic evaluation of proposed changes. Whatever your temporary changes, or suppose you change one of the pipelines or any machinery or installation of new machineries. So then a change is required. But this change is systematically driven to control all the pros and cons. So what is the management of change? So we are talking about is a systematic evaluation of proposed changes to minimize the unintended safety, health, and environment consequences. So we need to take the change in such a way to minimize all the excessive consequences. Okay. Now, how will we do management of change will affect? So, PSM standard is clearly tell about this. This thing is we need to lay down the MOC procedures, and MOC procedures is cover all the things. What we have, I have mentioned all the 14 elements. It covers the trainings, content management system. It covers the permit to work systems. It covers audits, incident investigations. So suppose any machinery which you need to install new machinery, there you need to have a management change. So if you have a laid down procedures, you need to train the people's contractor workers as well as employees, how the change will be impacted, what are the because any new thing, any changes will create a new hazards. So before going for management of change, we need to identify the risk assessments, post hazard analysis. If it depend on which one of the like ETA, event analysis, quality analysis, jobs or QRA based on the quantity involved, or based on the risk assessment. If you find the high hazards, you need to take the control measure and all that. So based on that, MOC is very crucial for the industries, particularly in manufacturing or high hazardous industries. There are the 8 steps of the MOC because there are very big subject in BSM, so I cut down to the limited version. In BSM there is a 8 step. If that 8 step, if you have followed very rigorously, it will be that management of change. All the hazards impacted due to change will be controlled and managed. So the eighth step is the initiations. So initiator initiate the management change. He initiate, either you make it digital or manually. It depends on you. But if you make it digitally, it will be a more impactful. Nowadays, many software is available. You can do this digitally. So initiate the MOC applications, and there is the initiator as well as the owners. So second is the appraisal process. So during appraisal, the owner will check. The MOC will be evaluated based on safety, security, environmental, quality, regulatory, and economic aspects. All the changes he should check, and based on that he will forward to for approval. So there is a technical approver who will check the MOC, and based on that MOC he will approve or reject. So time is limited, so I will just conclude that.
Not limited, sir. You can continue because we are having very less speaker. Please.
So there is a process, because PSM is very big subject. I am finding very difficulty to conclude in this. So initiations, appraisal, approval, implementations, and that verification. So during verification, that person has to check operating conditions as well as pre-startup safety review, and then it is after verification, there is a training and awareness of the quantity workers as well as employees, and the seventh step is documentation. Documentation means all your changes. After changes, what are the operating procedures, your maintenance procedures, your control logic documents, your P&L diagrams. It's very crucial, because if you have any shutdown, you have done some of the modifications. If you have not documented it properly, it will again create a hazards and it lead to the accident. It's severe or maybe catastrophic, depend on the quantity of the chemicals or hazard available. So documentation is very crucial, and seventh step is the documentation, and the eighth is the closure of MOC. Before closure of MOC, owner will check all the critical elements has been reviewed and implemented, and whatever the actions suggested during the pre-startup safety review has been closed or not. So if you implement this all 8 steps in MOC, so whatever problem arise, in whatever problem in case of safety, whatever the hazards or risk is there, will be controlled or managed through this MOC procedures. So it depends on you how you implement this by digitally or by manually. But it will be really helpful for industry to manage the hazards. Okay, this is from my side.
Thank you so much, sir. Can I add just 1, 2, 3 things on this? That is, basically there are 3 kinds of changes. That is developmental changes, transitional changes, and transformational change. And what I feel with my experience, we being a solution provider in SGS, these changes normally does not take place on time, or may not take place also because of there are various lacunae or drawbacks in the organization. So did you ever feel, it's not a question, just I would like to, because how do you manage it to implement these changes? How do you manage it? By any digital help you take, or some how can you manage it? If that's for the audience sake, if you can clarify a little bit on this. Can you clarify on this? How do you manage it? Because changes, suppose management decides there will be some changes, as I said, developmental changes there, which implies that lot of when improvement is required, that is called the developmental changes. When transitional change means one state to another state, there are some changes, and transformational change, that is cultural change, because cultural maturity and these things are really we are lacking. So these kind of changes are to be brought to improve our safety at workplace. So in that case, how do we manage it? How do we percolate it to our stakeholders of the company so that successfully you can manage the changes?
So basically, my idea is, I am talking about in safety context. So whatever changes in the industry or whatever we what it creates new changes with the hazards. So how will we manage by any SOPs, laid down procedures for any type of changes, and it's required to communicate to the employee or all the stakeholders in advance and provide training on them. So either you provide them the system you make digitally or manually. It is not depend, but you need to implement this SOP very rigorously. So if you have any policy or SOP, without a policy or SOP, we will not make the change. And it required it need to communicate properly and lead to training and awareness as well as review. So any of the management change. I think all these 3-4 parameters required for managing the management change.
Thank you so much, Manojkumar sir. You really nicely have explained. Now I would go to Mr. Chandrasekhar Rao. Actually, he is involved in our Indira Gandhi Airport Terminal 3 expansion project from L&T, and L&T is widely known, and I needless to say that I think each and everyone in the country knows about L&T, and also we being safety solution provider, we know how much they are improving their cultural transformation. So in that light, they have lot of innovative things they have implemented, and he has implemented, as personally I know him. So a lot of digital help they take so that they can really maintain the safety, because so that they can maintain the zero incidents or zero accident. They have lot of digital help like various apps and other things they have. If you can throw some light on this, that will help the audience.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Myself, Chandrasekhar. I am working in Dial Airport project. I have 18 years experience, entire experience in L&T only. So this project is one of the critical project, Dial expansion works in airport. The lot of stakeholders as well as interested parties in and our project. And a digital initiative, we are mainly focused on site-based implementation. We have a lot of digital platforms on the EHS, but in our project we are only focused on digital initiative, which is really will really improve safety culture in our project. So just I want to quote 2-3 digital initiative which we have implemented, very less cost. Sometimes it is there is no required any money also. So one the cultural changes. One initiative we have taken, that is the RTR concept. Reverse the risk. What is the reverse risk? This before start any activity, this concerned execution engineer or engineer who are at site, he have to cross check all the parameters which is already uploaded in our mobile app, where he has to check for their concerned activity, and before start this activity he has to do, and he has to submit the form through digital, and that has go to the form goes to safety department. He will cross check whether as per the requirement it is implemented or not. Now why I am telling the culture change? Normally EHS engineer has to do the inspections. Now all the execution engineer who is on the ground, he will take care safety and quality and productivity. So that is the culture change that as per my data, after implementation this RTR, entire this unsafe acts condition drastically reduced. As per my data analysis, it is 40% unsafe acts condition on account of this RTR. And another one, as we are working in the DIAL project, there are a lot of underground utilities and we don't have any proper drawings where it is utilities are there, existing utilities. Because it is 30 years before some of the construction happened. So what we have implemented very simple. We done the GPR survey, then we impose all the available information on Google Map. So the engineer carry the Google Map in a mobile format, and when he go there at the location and just check it, any utilities are available are there. It is interlinked with the coordinates. So he can easily work without damage any utilities. Because all these utilities are very sensitive, directly, indirectly linked with our airside operations. So after this app developed, then we seen the data synthesis, data analysis, almost 25% of incidents related utility damage reduced. So all such small digital innovations, we will work very effective and efficiency manner, and almost we achieve 55 million man hours without any major incident. So really, where we are working in the construction projects, this is very dynamic, and also the workmen are inexperienced workmen. They enter into our project. We need to have a proper awareness. For that, we are in the brownfield project where it is very near to our operations. We are working very near, 19 meters away from the flights are parked there. We are working 19 meters away from that particular location. So we have developed the AR VR modules where the workmen really feel that the actual work scenario at that location. Thank you very much. I don't want to waste time.
Thank you so much, Chandrasekhar, for your nicely you have elaborated, and really we are running short of time. I will not take much time. I will straight away switch over to Mr. Mritunjay Mishra, who is ABP Reliance BP Mobility Limited, and we are lucky to get like him, eminent speaker. His subject will be how to use data as source and insight for operational improvement.
Thank you, Mr. Asit, and a very good morning to everybody. It seems like, a sort of tiredness which has crept in. I do believe that all of us can do better. So may I request everybody to clap for themselves. Let's have some energy coming in. But this energy is missing. Yeah, that's great. And you can do a bit better as well, because the audience are really, all informed audience are here. Now, coming to the subject, because the time is quite limited, talking on the data part of it. Now, what is the data? Data is something which tells us what exactly we have been doing, and then we are recording. In terms of HSE, and since we talk on HSE, now HSE cannot be, differentiated from the operations or the production. So, it's an integral part of operations and production. And anything which we are doing is basically either we produce or we operate. That's the core of it. So now coming to the data, what is happening that we are generating lot of data, and either it be a lagging indicator in terms of there is an incident and then you go for root cause analysis, or lead indicators like job risk assessment. I'm just naming a couple of them. So all this data gets collected. And now it is there. So what exactly happens is that, we all generate a lot of data, and data analysis is something which is desired for an informed decision making. But if you look at the data part of it, the data remains in silos. We generate the data, there are various departments which are generating the data, and then there is a HSE department. The entire data needs to flow to the HSE part of it, and then in the decision making, which is done by either you call it a top management or the management team, or even all of us, if you are having the data, if you know what exactly is happening, then only you can take an informed decision. Otherwise it will be a traditional way. There is an incident, there are audits, so when there is an incident, there will be a knee-jerk reaction. You do a knee-jerk reaction, and then again you forget about it. Again we wait for the another incident to take place. So this is not going to help. This is not going to, basically make us incident free. That's the goal of all the organizations which are here. So for us being an incident free organization, we need to collect all the data, correlate the data, analyze the data, review the data, and then take a decision. Now somebody can ask a question saying that, okay, if you correlate each of these data, let's say thousands of near misses coming in a year, and all these organizations, there is a policy of awarding the near miss, the best near miss. That's again in all the organizations. But that data is coming. Who is analyzing that data? Where is the resource? So how do we do that? For that, we need to now look into artificial intelligence. There are certain artificial intelligence softwares which can analyze the data and tell you what exactly are the decision makers supposed to make a decision on that. And this is where you can basically look into it and then make sure the incidents will go away. If I say I've got all the near misses getting recorded, and then if I say I've got all the first aid cases or the medical treatment cases, or for that matter all the fatalities getting recorded, so it's okay, and then we go into the lagging part of it, but it's not going to help. So what we need to do is, we need to have all the lead indicators, we need to get through the data, analyze the data, and then make sure whatever analysis is thrown by our artificial intelligence softwares. My friend was very correctly pointing out all these aspects. The other aspect where, which is largely untouched, the largely untouched aspect is what? If I ask anybody where are the maximum fatalities taking place, you will say accidents. And accidents are which everybody is exposed to. We are all on the roads. In fact, I am in Mumbai, and every day at least I travel 40 to 45 kilometers. And that's everybody will be doing, even in Delhi, and you are driving your cars. Have we ever thought of how much data is getting thrown? How we can control that? For us, what we have done is, we have got a fleet of around 5,000 tank trucks, and what we have done is, we are collecting all the lead indicators. Now what are the lead indicators? Overspeeding, that's the number one cause of all the incidents. We are also looking at the continuous driving part of it, harsh braking part of it, night driving part of it, route deviation. People deviate the routes and then they meet an accident. So all those things we have started collating. This data is sent from our server to a control room, which is monitoring on a real-time basis. Then there is a software which is analyzing. We are basically analyzing the behavior of each and every TT crew. And this is where I will tell you, and you will be surprised. Initially, we used to have around 150, Santosh can correct me, 150 incidents per year. And that's around 7 to 8 were fatalities. Now it has dropped to 10. So within last 3 to 4 years, what we have done is, we have gone through it and we have made sure that this analysis helps each one of us. Similarly, if we look at the other part of it, if you look in the industry, and Sudhir, my earlier co-speaker who was here, we both were at ADAG, Anil Dhirubhai Ambani at Sasan Power Plant, so mega power plant, 4,000 megawatt capacity power plant which was there. There the maximum deaths took place because of fall from height. And if you analyze those data, and if you analyze what are the lead factors which are leading to a fall from height, then you can have those systems built in your decision making, and this is going to, when you have a discussions with your vendors, you can discuss with them, but these are the things which are happening. And I think time is not permitting, I'll just take 2 minutes and then I'll leave for my last speaker. So, I'm sorry for that, but then a couple of minutes for that break. So what has happened is, when we analyze the data and when we spoke with the vendors, we came to know why that was taking place, because that was something to do with the demography of the people who were coming for working. So this is where we control everything, entire incidents at Sasan, and there was only one fatal accident at Sasan, which was because of fall from height. So this is where we can work in, we can look into it. Extremely sorry, I could have delivered, I could have loved to listen from you, but then time is not permitting. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Actually, one way we are lucky to get you like experienced person, and another way we are unlucky that we could not really hear completely with your vast experience. But however, I would request Synnex in next time to allot more time. Anyhow, I would request now Mr. Amit Kumar, who is Chief Risk Officer of ONGC. His subject would be collecting critical data in real time, enabling to understand the situation quickly. So I would request you, sir, if you can kindly, talk about something about real time, because some of the delegates may not be really aware what is real time and how it is really related to our safety services, how we can improve in workplace safety. So that will be helpful for all. Thank you so much, sir. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Asit and the other co-panelists. Good afternoon to...
Sir, just sorry to interrupt you in between. We don't have much of time. I won't be taking much of your time because we need to finish as soon as possible. I'm really sorry. I know you have a lot to say. So I would be giving only 2 minutes to you. So I believe that it would be enough for you. Yeah.
We have lost time due to that, connectivity. No, please don't intervene. Let him continue. Let him continue. The time we are taking in discussion, by the time he will continue. Please, sir, carry on.
Good afternoon, and I must really thank the organizers for providing me that a minute or two extra. Thank you so much. And I work with a company that is Oil and Natural Gas Corporation Limited. I'm Chief Risk Officer over there. And as we all know, oil and gas sector is highly hazardous, and a simple oversight can result into a catastrophe. So it becomes very important for us. I'm sure all of you must have come across incidents, Bhagjan, where there was a major blowout in Upper Assam, and it went on for months. With our company, BHN, sometime in 2005, the whole platform collapsed in the high seas in Mumbai High. So if we see all these things, then it becomes very important for an oil and gas company that we continuously monitor the critical operation parameters, develop a control mechanism which is online and ensures that the emergency response happens whenever we come across an emergent situation. So Mr. Asit said, what's real time? And real time is when you pick up the data right when it is happening. So what ONGC has done is that it has gone into huge digitalization of its operations. Everybody of us, I'm not here to tell you what all things are there. There's a sensing system, there is a data management system, and then there's a data display system, HMIs are there. But more important aspect is, when you have such data, what do you do with that? Is your control groups functional? Are they actually functioning when they are required to do? So all this setup, you can have a huge, large setup, but if you do not maintain it, the biggest problem that will come for all of you, and including a company like ours, is that it fails to function when it is required to function. So out here you would have manufacturers who are manufacturing the instrumentation, the automation, very important that we must have robust equipment which can handle the stress, equipment which can go maintenance free for a longer period. Second thing that ONGC works out is everything has been, all the data is captured, it is in the system, we are on SAP, the SAP, the business modules are connected to the HSE module. Last 10 years data is available, the online parameters, all the data which is related to your gas detection and everything is available. But what was the next step that was required? And the next step was having a real-time center where all this data is available to the experts, and operation is going on in the high seas. You have an HPHT well, high pressure, high temperature well. The depths are, you are talking in terms of 1400 meters of, 1500 meters of water depth, and a depth of the another 4000 meters of the well depth. You have unknown reservoirs. The source rock is not known to all of us. So what we have done is we have developed a real-time monitoring center. And what does it do? The recent example is that one of the wells somewhere in Bay of Bengal, it was a deep water well, there was a complication, and when there is a complication, the RTC picked it up. There was a casing going on, the 8.5 casing was being lowered, and at that time there was a complication, and immediately the real-time center could intervene, check the data, find out what had happened in the previous well, which had been drilled around half a kilometer away from that same well, and they were able to provide the necessary input for taking that evasive action. And the well could be completed and well in time. Whereas the previous well had taken nearly 15 to 20 days more. And you can very well realize, all of us, that forget the economics part. If anything would have gone wrong, what would have happened? Another Macendo. The environment would have polluted, the sea would have got polluted, there would have been millions and billions of damages that would have come across. So all these things, as all our panelists have talked about, very good to pick up the data. But very important are the two things which I conclude with. And the first one is the robustness of your data management system. And when I say data management system, I talk about the hardware, and I also talk about the software. The second, what do you do with that data? Are you crunching it? Are you analyzing it? Are you using it online, real time, for the actual use for which today we are sitting here? If we are doing that, then of course it is of use putting in that amount, the expenditure that you do. But if not, then it's of no use. Third, the maintenance aspect. All these things, the chain, will not function if we do not have a robust predictive and a preventive management system, maintenance system, for ensuring that the complete line is maintained and is available when it is needed to act. And the fourth that is happening nowadays, I'm sure you must have read about the cyber attack that happened in AIMS a few days back. So that is another area. When you are working on this, you have a cloud, you have a server, you have a network which is open. Of course, you will have layers of protection. But then if that happens, it is going to really, like a company like ours, can really get affected if such a cyber attack happens. So these four things have to be kept in mind when you are handling all these real-time data and use of that data is very important. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And it was really a nice session, though time was very short. But thanks from all of us and to Synnex and for organizing this event. And we as I am as a solution provider, as a partner of Synnex. Thank you all of you. And we'll finish it now. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much to all of you. Just be there. So, as we all know that we are already short of time, so we have to do it everything very fast. So, I would like to call on stage Mr. Mritunjay, the Director of Mritunjay, to facilitate all the members. Can we have a huge round of applause for all of them and Mr. Mritunjay? So firstly, I would like to call Mr. Amit Kumar, Chief Risk Officer, ONGC. Can we have a huge round of applause, guys? Mr. Yogesh Srivastava, Head EHS and Sustainability from Tata Projects. Mr. Manojkumar Shah, General Manager, SGS and Sustainability from Azure Power. Guys, can we have a huge round of applause, everyone? Come on. Mr. Nisant Tulasidas Madhavan, General Manager. Okay, so we have Mr. Mritunjay Mishra, AVP Sourcing and Distribution from Reliance BP Mobility LTD. Mr. Chandra Shekhar Rao, DGM EHS from L&T Construction. Finally, we have our moderator, Mr. Asit Basak, Head Industrial Safety from SGS India Private Limited. So all the people, can we have a huge round of applause for all of them?